So, in ray optics, we have another important topic, which is formula for refraction for spherical surface. Since we have the name is spherical surface. In spherical surface, we have two types of surface. First is concave spherical surface. Second one is convex spherical surface. In this video, we will discuss about the first concave spherical surface, and we have a diagram for it. This is the diagram for concave spherical surface. This is the first medium in which air is present, and this concave spherical surface, which is made up of the help of glass. That means this is our second medium. The refractive index of first medium is N1 and reflective index of second medium is N2. Since we know this spherical surface have a particular point P, which is known as pole, when a parallel line is coming out from this and move from the center of this spherical surface, then this line is known as principal axis. Since we already know about this, the principal axis is what which is passing from the center of the spherical surface is known as principal axis. And from here, we are considering that we have a point particle which is present on this principal axis here, and we call it O. This is the one point particle on the principal axis. The distance from the point particle to the pole is U. And we all know the distance from the pole to the point particle is U. So light is coming out from this point O like this and hit the spherical surface. This light ray is coming out from a point object and hit the spherical surface at some point N. Since we want to move the light rays enter into the second medium, so we will draw here a normal which is passing from this point like this. This is our normal which is passing from the point N and hit the principal axis and the point C. Since this point C is known as center of the spherical surface, so distance from the pole towards this center point will be capital R. This is the radius of the spherical surface. Then after that, when this ray hit this surface and the normal is drawn here, then there will be an angle between incident ray and normal, which is known as angle I, angle of incidence. This ray, when it is moving from here, moves towards the glass medium. Then after refraction, it moves towards the normal. This is the phenomena of refraction of light. So it moves towards the normal. Since this is moved towards the normal, then the angle between normal and refracted ray is angle path, and this ray is moving towards the infinity. Since we are unable to find the image at infinity, so we will redraw this refracted ray and we will find this ray will be at principal axis, which is point I. This is our point where the image will be formed when we redraw this refracted ray on principal axis. So distance from the point I to pole will be V. And this angle, which is called R, is vertically opposite with this angle. This is also become R. This angle our incident, and now this angle becomes reflected again. We are now considering that we have a perpendicular here which is very close to the principal axis and or take a pole, and we will name it M, since this is perpendicular to principal axis. Now we are assuming that the object may have the alpha angle with principal axis, beta angle, image of beta angle with principal axis, and the normal draw of gamma angle with principal axis. Since this is the phenomena of refraction, and we know there are two types of law for refraction. First is the incident ray, refracted ray, and gamma all are the same thing. And second one is Snell's law. Now we are using by using Snell's law, which is sin I upon sin R equals to N2 upon N1. N2 is medium refractive index for second one and N1 is for first one. For small angles, for small angles. And as we know, for small angles, angle I equals to angle R. What is the mean for the small angles? We know when we talk about the small angle, the sine I will convert into its angle, and sine R is converted into its angle. So for small angle, sine I becomes I and sine R becomes R. Then the equation becomes I upon R equals to N2 upon N1. Now we will cross multiply the following expression and we get I N1 equals to N2R. This is our first equation. Now this is our first equation. I N1 equals to N2R. Here we have two variables, incident angle and reflected angle. Now we are going to find out the value of incident angle and reflected angle with the help of this diagram. Just look at this. Angle I is where O, it is in a triangle O, N, and C. If we read off the diagram for it, so we will get like this. This is the principal axis. This is point object. This is point C, where the angle gamma is present. Here the angle alpha is present, and this is the point N. This is our angle I. So when we talk about this triangle, here the gamma is here as the actual angle, and since we know for triangle in triangle NOC, the gamma will be equals to I plus alpha. This is the property of the external angle. The external angle will be equal to sum of two interior angles. Then the value of I will be gamma minus alpha. So we will get here the value of I. We will call it some equation later. Similarly, we have to find the value of angle R, which is here. Which is here. Angle R is at that triangle I and C. If we redraw this triangle, then we got I and C. At the I we have an angle beta, and at C we will got the angle gamma, and this is our angle reflected angle R. So for this triangle and IC, the angle gamma will be equals to R plus beta. So again we got the value of gamma in the terms of R plus beta, and then we will find that R will be equals to gamma minus beta. Since we get the value of I and value of R, we will put the value of I and R is equal to 1. So we get putting the value of I and R in equation 1. So we get look like this, N1, the value of I is gamma minus alpha equals to N2, the value of R is gamma minus beta. Now we just going to multiply the N1. We will get N1 gamma minus N1 alpha equals to N2 gamma minus N2 beta. When we multiply the N1 into this bracket and N2 into this bracket, then we got N1 gamma minus N1 alpha equals to N2 gamma minus N2 beta. Now we are taking gamma on the same side. So we will get N1 gamma minus N2 gamma equals to minus N2 beta plus N1 alpha. Now here we can take the minus sign here. So we get minus N1 gamma plus N2 gamma equals to N2 beta plus N1 alpha. Also, we are taking the gamma as common. So gamma will be N2 minus N1 equals to minus N2 beta plus N1 alpha. We are transpose this minus sign, so we get gamma into N2 minus N1 equals to N2 beta minus N1 alpha. Now this is our second equation. Since we have got the value of, we have got the second equation, which is gamma N2 minus N1 equals to N2 beta minus N1 alpha. Here, alpha, beta, gamma are the angle formed in image, object, and center. Now, these three variables, which we have to find the value of for these three variables from the help of diagram. So, before to finding the value of alpha, we have to check the triangle O N M. When we talk about triangle O N M, Then here, this is angle alpha, this is height h, and this is the distance which we call u. So if you want to find out the value of alpha, then we have the height and weight, so we have to use 10. And the formula for the 10 alpha is perpendicular upon base, since the perpendicular is h, and weight is u. Since this distance u is measured towards the left side from the pole, so it should be taken as negative. So 10 alpha will be minus h upon e. Similarly, if you want value of beta, so we have to look into the triangle NIM. If you want to draw this, so it will be like NMI. This is our beta angle, this is height h, and the distance from I to M will be V. So 10 beta will be equals to h upon V, and this t will be as negative since we are taking the distance towards the left side from the pole. Similarly, we will find the value of gamma, and if we want to find out the value of gamma here, so we will have to take the triangle N and C. So we will draw it, and we got that the triangle will be N and C. Here the angle alpha. This is our here the angle sorry gamma, and height is h, and this distance will be r. So 10 gamma will be equals to h upon r, and again here will be a minus r since it is also left side from the pole. Now for a small angle, for small angles, the alpha will be equals to minus h upon u, beta will be equals to minus h upon v, and gamma will be equals to minus h upon r. So here we take the value of alpha, beta, and gamma. Now we take the value of alpha, beta, and gamma in equation number 2. So we get putting the value of alpha, beta, and gamma in equation second. So we get looking at this gamma, the value of gamma is minus h upon r, and multiplied by n2 minus n1, which is equals to n2 beta. The value of beta is minus h upon v. So n2 multiplied by the value of beta is minus h upon v. Next is minus n1 alpha. The value of alpha is minus h upon u. Putting the value, we will get minus n1. The value of alpha is minus h upon u. Since we have minus h upon r, n2 minus n1, we can take the common here minus h, so we get n2 upon v minus n1 upon u. Look at this, minus h is here, minus h is here, we can cancel out this minus h with minus h. And we get n2 minus n1 upon r equals to n2 upon v minus n1 upon u. If we want to conclude here, this is our formula for refraction of spherical surface for concave surface, and we also convert it into other form by dividing n1 the complete equation like n2 minus n1 divided by n1 divided by r equals to n2 divided by n1 upon v minus n1 divided by n1 upon u. What we have done here, we just completely divide the complete method by n1, so we get n minus 1 upon r equals to n upon v minus 1 upon u. Why we coming out from here? Because you know n2 upon n1 equals to 2. So that is the formula for the refraction of spherical surface in a concave surface. Thank you so much, everyone.